Okay, welcome back to another episode where we continue our journey talking to everyone on the planet. We got a new icon, 8 days to the Cronus' Day of Swords. I guess the game will end if we don't make it out of this crazy valley by then. I don't think the game ends in 8 days. I just think you have to finish this kind of valley mission, which probably isn't too bad as long as you don't screw around traveling everywhere, because I don't think the time advances while you're in this kind of terrain. Alright, so we have a few more icons to go click on here. I also noticed there's a bag right here we're going to click on. Let's open that. Grain. Always wanted that. A meager portion of game simmers in the large copper pot. Fragrant spices attempt to mask the potent smell of whatever creature they decided to cook. Who is this guy? Bitter quip. Glory to the voices of Narat. Projecting his salutation for all to hear, the grinning blood chanter wraps his staff against the ground as you approach. Fatebinder, Crotty Snoopy, I presume. His smile quickly retreats, giving way to a sour scowl. I am Bitter Quip. I'm here as an emissary of the Scarlet Chorus. What's it like working with the Disfavored? He scoffs, looking away from you for a moment before sniffing and returning his attention to you. Reporting to the Iron Hag is an insult. She fought one duel for her title. One? Her leadership must be continuously proven, earned, and defended. Weakness should bleed to the bottom of the army, not rise to the top. My assignment here is also an insult, but one I will bear for the good of the chorus. He sniffs the air, smiling with the side of his mouth. If only to see with my own eyes the failure of the Disfavored, that will be a fine day. What can you tell me of the Scarlet Chorus? The chorus is the future of tears. I feel only derision and pity for those who fear our inevitable ascension. Looks at you with a raised eyebrow. What in particular would you like to know? Tell me about the voices of Narat. He is the supreme commander and public servant. He who sets us free but directs all. Smiles as he talks, turning his face flushed. The voices of Narat is the epitome of what each of us can be. A magician without equal. The leader of uncountable numbers. How'd you come to join? The Doctrine of Strength speaks to me, and I answered its call. As did some of my arcane peers. I took to the course almost instantly. Unlike most, I cried not for the life of comfort lost to me. My magic invokes fear and terror. I easily established my dominance over a pack in my early days in the chorus. If you're so curious about it all, perhaps you should visit our camp and see for yourself. What's your role in the course? I'm a blood chanter. My magic can turn the will of man in the tide of battle. I have held command for 3 years now, though being forced to keep an eye on the Disfavored is not the reward I had envisioned for my service thus far. Sounds like you really like the voices of Narat. Blink several times, scowling, saying nothing. That's all for now. Okay, this is this guy. Keep Sevius. Fatebinder, Crotty Snoopy, am I right? I'm Sevius, commander and 3rd generation Disfavored. Specifically, I'm Kevius, the younger. Some folks can't keep track. The rank says commander, but lately I'm just organizing patrols and trying to stay out of the way. You should talk to the Iron Marshal if you've something official that needs discussing. I overheard you asking that Earthshaker where their reinforcements have gone. Is there a problem? I'm afraid so. Radix, the head of the Earthshakers, was supposed to arrive with a group of his most competent spell singers to help break this stalemate. I don't know what's holding up their arrival, and that worries me. If you were at all inclined to lend a hand, we could use some arcane support on our side. I could lend a hand. I love side quests. Why not? North Clearing is now unlocked on the world map. Could you? I know Tunon's agent wouldn't fail us in time of need. I'll mark the last known site of our Earthshaker reinforcement on your map. Good hunting, Fatebinder. Why do you think the siege has delayed for so long? It should have been over real quick and simple. The first cohort arrived in the valley and went right straight for the kill. But that was before they knew the Vendrian Guard had sages and that water witch on their side. A bigger problem is the Scarlet Chorus. They eagerly conscript the Vendrian Guard, but I have no proof of this. It seems that they do very little to keep a watchful eye on the drafted tiersmen. They are often sent on a patrol, and we suspect they use the opportunity to escape back to the Vendrian Guard. Every chorus conscript has a choice: life under Kairos or death under the army's boots. By all means, feel free to cut down those who chose the latter. We won't be offended. That's what verse says. Just so we don't mistake each other. I know I'm saying carries the implication of treachery. I'm not making a formal accusation before Tunon's agent. I'm just voicing my gut opinion on the matter. The two armies haven't worked together well in years. Why do you think that is? Come on, Binder. It seems like you're asking why beasts stink. The Disfavored are only eager to deliver Kairos' piece of the tears, while the Scarlet Chorus brings only mayhem in their wake. You can tell the Voices Nurat has a plan, and I'll take your word for it, but the Chorus sure seems to blunder around, never moving with purpose as we do. I wonder, verse says, I wonder if we've been fighting the same war, soldier. I've seen Ash yank his precious soldiers away from more battles than he's won. And you call that if you want to call that progress, be my guest. Tell me about yourself. Not much to tell. My father, Servius the Elder, was Father Servius, the first of his name, the lead drill master of Ash's first Iron Guard, back when they were the Bronze Guard. I was born into the Legion, and with any hope I'll die in the Legion. The rest, hopefully, you hear about when the storytellers immortalize me. Bronze Guard. Well, his day and age was a century ago, and they didn't have Kairos' modern luxuries like iron. So back then, the great general's inner council was known as the Bronze Guard. You should be proud of your pedigree. I see you have your own identity outside the Legion. Tell me back to the questions. You should be proud of your own pedigree. Thanks, but I try not to think about it too fondly. If anything, every time I screw up something, I'd wish I wasn't dragging the family name through the mud along with me. Back to my other questions. Farewell. I'll be back when I have more lore. Probably not, because I'll totally forget about it. Maybe I'll open this thing now, no? Oh.
Can't do that.
Oh, I'm at 36, so close. I got some more flashies here. Journal. So we got Earthshaker reinforcements. And then we got this one. Disfavored. I think I ranked up in Disfavored favor. So I got a new passive, stand together, stand tall. Oh, it's a passive, that's nice. Pulse rate. I was getting too many of these crazy bonuses. Favor of the Fatebinder. So I want to keep earning favor. Scarlet Chorus, doesn't matter which way I go. In verse, I got all her things, and these people don't really matter. It's interesting that I have higher favor with Ash and Graven Ash than Disfavored. Doesn't really seem to matter, though. I don't know what that does for me. Maybe just like conversation stuff. Anyway, we gotta talk to this guy right here. The Iron Marshal. Don't just coddle the impact. Push back with your shield. Take the momentum. Iron Marshal. Aaron Yoss, field commander of the Disfavored, pounds her fist in the air as she calls out to the warriors on the training field. I said eyes on your opponent's waistline. If you spend more than a glance checking your footwork, you've lost. Disfavored officer turns to you, adjusting her pale golden surcoat. As she clears her throat. need to stay on top of the troops or their skills will rust. It's for their own good, even if they don't believe it. Pale golden surcoat. Judging from her uniform, this is the Iron Marshal Inros, first among equals in the Iron Guard. Graven Ash's inner circle of trusted followers, charged with being the duties of leadership, logistics, and training. There is rarely a quiet day for the second in command of the Disfavored Legion. How are your warriors reacting to the edict? Kairos' ultimatum has the camp on edge. Some would dread, most are rife with anticipation. She points to the men sparring the field. We have a lot of brothers and sisters to avenge, and the warriors are eager to take out some of their aggression. I, for one, chose to see the edict as a blessing. It forces the generals to act, and we're long overdue. It was mentioned your sword and warriors need help. What's the situation? I have brigands amassing along Placid, Equicall, and Little Tooth crossings. The Vendrian Guard may be able to hold one bridge, but they cannot hold a concentrated three-prong attack. I have no right to give you orders, but we will all die if to Kairos' edict should we fail, and so I'm not about to let my pride bind me to the value of good help. This is the second major attack on the river, is that correct? What happened last time? Defeat in detail. We carved a bloody path to the river, but at that point everyone who charged ahead was lost. We had no chorus backup. It was just a few disfavored squads. I can't tell you exactly how they were defeated, but we lost the whole assault team. She shakes her head, letting out a long pain sigh. We found bodies washing up in the river for days. It's not often that Tearsmen put up such a good fight. It certainly made us reevaluate the number we'll need to take this valley. We can pass blame out after the war. Only the Oathbreakers matter now. Quite right. Getting emotions in the mix won't hasten our campaign. What's the value of taking the crossing? We can't just march from here to the Citadel with the Vendrian Guard manning the riverbanks, forwarding troops and supplies through. Even the narrowest points of the river makes us vulnerable to attack, especially since our armor wasn't built for swimming. She points north toward the mountain spire looming on the horizon. If we can take the river, we have a clear march to Citadel, and Ascension Hall will be ours in no time. The Disfavored need my help. Been trying to pour salt on my pride. We left Fort Resolution with 100 on 100, and there have been no reinforcements or reserves. I keep throwing warriors back into the battle before they properly rested. So yes, I rely on our allies, especially since most of our allies are conscripted Tearsmen, worse than useless. If the Disfavored didn't take every opportunity to insult the Scarlet Chorus, perhaps you'd find our help more forthcoming. Shut your snout, little filthy mongrel. I won't suffer childish japs in my camp. Gain average loyalty from verse, might of wrath. You speak out of turn and offend our host. Apologize. Fear and favor. Fine. You want me to what? She glares at you. But something in her expression reflects doubt. Fine. I should have kept my big mouth shut. What's my help worth to you? What's it worth? Takes half step back, placing her arms on her sides. You read the edict. If we don't take Ascension Hill, it's your sorry hide too. You need a bribe to care about your own survival? Subterfuge 32. Sorry to waste your time. Clearly the Scarlet Chorus is in greater need of help. Nice. We are better prepared than the Scarlet Mob, that much is true, but that downside of Kairos' most elite fighting force is that we only accept the best, which leaves us short-handed at times. She cocks her head. I get it. Your duty is to proclaim an edict, not to anchor a shield wall. If you assist us, I put it in good word with Ark and Ash and the soldiers. I like the iron to stand in your shield wall. Fighting incurs all manner of expenses. I like the iron to stand in your shield wall. And you think of something in your size just gathering rust somewhere? I have fewer men to arm than the chorus, but the forge-bound barely keep the legion fully armed and fitted. She reaches into a pouch and belt. Forth a witched Eden token. Give this mark to any disfavored quartermaster. I trust him to know what we can spare and what must be hoarded. But know how much our incoming iron is already promised to soldiers who have been waited years for repairs. Alright, I will assist. Then our plan might work, thy Marshal. We are loath to work with those who do not share our training or values, but we know that Tunon, the adjudicator, selects only the most capable minds for his court. I trust you will honor that all in a field. And Antio will lead the charge at Echo Call Crossing. Assisting you will be Barak of the Stone Shields. She points to a heavily armored soldier. Before you ask, know the forge-bound weren't sloshed on Doppelseeds when they fitted his armor. He survived the full force of an Edict of Storm, and his armor doesn't exactly come off. Tactically, it's quite brilliant, but otherwise, it's something of a curse. Barak, come meet the Fatebinder. The soldier that steps up to you resembles an amalgamation of rusted blades and mismatched pieces of armor fused into a vaguely human shape. He reeks of sweat, feces, and whatever oil treatment keeps him flexible.
Fatebinder, the Iron Marshal has tasked me with keeping you alive, and I have no intention of disappointing her. That should be enough assurance for anyone.
An honor.
Likewise, good Binder.
The soldier heaves a heavy iron arm into a salute, his whole body clanging as he wraps his gauntlet against the twisted sheets of metal that form his breastplate.
Eric, is that you under there? I had no idea you were in Vendrian's well. Fatebinder, do you know this walking anchor?
You two know each other. I've encountered Barak in the Stalwart campaign, though he appears much changed. He's an excellent soldier. Barak gained average loyalty. First grade average loyalty. He may be heavy as an anchor, but at least he's not as dense as one. Don't believe we've been acquainted. All right, this one.
You're generous to say so. I'm afraid I left the better part of myself on the killing fields of Stalwart, but it's still in my pride and honor to serve the Legion.
His voice falters. You can't tell if it's hesitation or regret that stalls him. The Fatebinder will be joining us for the push across the river. I figured an extra hand might help, and more importantly, if my worries come true, the chorus tries to impede the mission, we'll have an observer from the court on our side.
Better to work with the Honorable Binder than some chorus children.
I asked that Barak accompany you there to arbitrate and cooperate between his company and the Scarlet Chorus. Echo Call Crossing is now unlocked. Barak, you've been without a cohort since the last Battle of Stalwart. It's time we give you a task none more worthy than hauling wagons and leading training drills. She plants her hands on her hips and speaks with a clipped official terms. Ash has been assigned you to the Fatebinder service. You're to assume this task is an ongoing until we find a more permanent spot for you, which could very well mean the swiftly approaching end of this war, or that when the Fatebinder dismisses you. Is that understood? Barak regards the Iron Marshal as in oppressive silence. That's an order, Barak. He can be as stubborn as pulling a spire out of the earth, but he's a good soldier. I hope you don't mind the company. It's an honor to have a member of the Iron Legion at my side. I do mind, but I'll allow it, if only it can put a large gap between myself and the enemy. It's an honor to have a member of the Iron Legion at my side. Excellent. I look forward to success in the field. Nice. Now I got another party member. Let's check out this guy. Barak, level up. Let's see. This guy's a level up. What is it saying? Is this just saying that I need to level up? That's weird. Yeah, so I have 1 point here. And he has 2 things. Punisher and Sentinel. Clash of Iron. Taunting. Challenging enemies to attack Barak. That might be good. Cooldown 30 seconds. Taunted for 7 seconds. Guess he's kind of like the tank, huh? So how much of his defenses? Not too different. Oh yeah, he does have a lot of armor compared to me. That's good. Yeah, and you can't like, it's like stuck to him too. Fused iron armor is sealed to Barak and cannot be unequipped. So anyways, he's a pretty good tank. Barak's helm is a tragic interpretation of disfavored gear mixed with elements of stalwart bronze. It hides his face, allowing only a suggestion of visible detail behind the obscurity, and a culmination of rust is gathered just under his eye slits. This item can be improved with Spire Forge upgrade. Pieces of iron are fused to encapsulate Barak's legs to emulate an abstract representation of boots. The worn-torn section of rust under his feet appeared the result of marching across great distances with patient hours filing sections down for the sake of balance. Articulation is either due to coincidence or prolonged effort bending at fused iron, but the result of the same bar can stand and move with some semblance of normalcy. Barak's gauntlets are fused around his hands like vicious talons. They branch up his arms, continuous line of interconnected iron joined with the rest of his armor, forming a single coherent piece. His fingers are fully articulated, and he flexes them often, perhaps to remind himself that they are present. This poor dude, he's got crazy armor. Iron shield is a disorderly fusion of rusted scrap. At least 100 wrapped breastplates and twice as many swords. That this heap of lethal garbage fused all around Barak's torso is rough approximation of armor without destroying him in the process is either a remarkable coincidence or an arcane achievement beyond comprehension of any smithy. Aside from the omnipresent stench of oil and rust, the reek of long, unwashed body and pools of stagnant bodily fluids oppress the air around Barak. Crazy. So what kind of weapons he's got? He's got an iron sword. 9 to 11. And I'm using a 9 to 12. I wonder if I should swap it with him. Can I unequip it? You must unequip the shield before removing the primary weapon. Weird. I guess they didn't want to do the animation. Otherwise. Let's see which shield is better for him. Let's see. Plus a dodge. So that one has better parry. And this one has better dodge. Whatever. Should be fun. Give this guy back a sword. Shield. Alright, so anyways, this guy's got to level up. So So I think we do want Clash of Iron. Let's see, these other ones. Art of the Blade. Increases one-handed and two-handed melee weapon damage by 10%. Engagement attack. 30% chance to attack foes when engaged. Gain a chance to attack enemies as they engage you. Comes intimidating force in the battlefield. Enemies nearby barrack have the resolve reduced. Yeah, we'll do the taunt. Issues a mocking invitation. And then he has 2 other skills already. He's got Iron Tolling, which is a combo once per encounter. Barrack and Fatebinder both bang on their shields and armor, harassing an enemy. The target is compelled to attack Barrack for a short time, while the Fatebinger's mocking gestures leave the enemy confused and off guard. Foe loses all ability to parry and dodge until they recover their senses. Taunted for. So basically like negative 1,000 for 15 seconds. Iron Trolling. And then Striking Iron. Plus 2% damage if engaged by target enemy. Strike a single enemy, dealing significantly increased damage if the target enemy is engaging Barrack. Alright. Can I open this dumb chest yet? Why not? Oh, there I can. Nice.
Got it.
So I got, these are called merchants bracers. Always puts like this kind of armor stuff. I'll just look at all this armor stuff. So now I have a new character. His favorite iron sword. Tower shield. Let's pull all this crap out. Bronze javelin. Let's see. Unarmed DPS. Don't really care about that. Plus 19 parry. So you can't really dodge, but you can parry really well. That might be good. Let's see what about this guy. Plus 8 parry. He can't really dodge anyway, he's kind of a tank. Bigger shield. It's a two-handed weapon. Larger range. I'll keep that one. Red Rivers. So it's like all the different stances. How complicated. Look at all these crazy stats. Different abilities depending on what stance you're in. This is a better range and DPS. So it looks at both. If I can switch just one of these. It's two-handed though, which is the issue. Yeah, so this is not useful. Alright, I'm just gonna put all this crap away. I just want to just sell it. Alright. Why is this still active? Notch. Barrack has one attribute. Okay. Should I give him attack, maybe? Maybe vitality. Bonus health. Probably a good idea if he's a tank. Alright. And we just got some more questies that we've already learned about. It's fine. And yet again, I think that's a good stopping point for the episode. I think we cleared, hopefully, this map. So next episode we'll continue on our journey to new unexplored places, where I'm sure there'll be lots more talking. This game has a lot of talking, a lot of text. Oh, we didn't do this thing.
On it.
Let's see. Actually, before we stop the episode, let's do this first. Let's save it in case we mess this up, because I don't want to have to redo any of that stuff. We already read this before, so I'm not going to read this out loud again. See your trade permits. Anything can argue for Tuna, can be argued for me. Subterfuge, there we go. Curious, I was just hearing about a supply caravan of regents going missing. Gain subterfuge skill. Well, I don't see how that relates to me. I mean, I've only just arrived here. I couldn't have been involved in anything like that. Didn't say the shipment went missing around here. I certainly didn't mention when. Start talking. So you happen to cart all of this by yourself from over the mountain in hopes of making money in the middle of the battle. I'm not buying it. Well, I suppose some of it's looted. Look, I'm just trying to scrap together an inventory to sell. All the tiers have been wrapped up in war. Forces a man to get creative with the source of his wares. I found most everything in the forests of the valley. I keep my head low when I heard the sounds of combat. Then I'd take a look, grab whatever wasn't claimed by the first victors. So you stole from the disfavored dead. How else did you get your hands on the iron? You would come here and sell us our own armaments. If anything has an owner, I will return it. But this iron would have turned to rust if I left it in the mud in the battlefield. The disfavor are few in number. Is that not right? You need a man like me to gather up supplies that would otherwise go to waste. The disfavor will tolerate your presence, but you will pay them handsomely for such charity. We will? We will. It sickens me to make exception for this vulture, but if you supply this favor without profit, perhaps this indiscretion is for the best. It's not like our larders are overflowing. A work slave to scrounge provisions would be an asset. Thank you for interceding on my behalf. I know my life will now depend on showing this favor due gratitude for suffering my presence. I must grovel to earn my bit of daily grain, but so be it. And we got some more subterfuge, which is always good. Saving your hide was worth. Well, naturally. Yeah, we're at this part. You were lucky before, so he's gonna give us discounts when he opens a store later. He's got camping supplies and other silliness that we don't need right now. We do need to rest to clear out these wounds, so we should do that first also before we leave, and we can rest for free up here, so we might as well do that. I wonder if I should have rested before I cast this thing, but I don't think it matters because I think the day doesn't change. Rest for 8 hours. Man. Yeah, we're going to get murdered if we don't. That's where this game will get painful in terms of time management. Trying to clear out your wounds while actually keeping up with this stupid timer. Oh well, I'll just try it. Alright, that's a good stuff for the episode. See you next time. Thanks for watching.